Ruth Bader Ginsburg, am I correct in remembering this? She said she didn't want to retire because she wanted a female president to replace.
I don't remember that. Maybe there were reports that she said that behind the scenes.
Yeah, how little was she?
I mean, we don't hang out with the Supreme Court justices.
But you see her at the State of the Union.
I mean,
she's got.
Yeah,
she
but
seems like
but I wasn't like measure. I wasn't like.
She was like 3'5", maybe 3'6".
I don't think she's 3'5".
That's what it looked like.
She's taller.
I hated those T-shirts though.
They're still out.
The notorious RBG.
Yeah.
What the hell are they talking about? She's just some lady.
It is true.
Like
a
rapper. Hello and welcome to the Adam Friedland Show, guys. Adam Friedland here. Of course, I want to thank our members here on YouTube.com. This show may very well be a profitable enterprise any day now. If you want to support the show, support what's happening on the show, if you're a fan of the show and you want to get the show early, you can sign up in the link in the description below or by clicking join at the top of your page here on YouTube.com. And of course, we also have a Patreon. If you prefer supporting the show through Patreon, there's a link in the description. Also, if you want to shop our merch, the hats will be restocked very soon. We have t-shirts up on our site, and coming very soon for fall, for layering season, we have hoodies coming up, and they look fucking sick. So I'll let you know when those are out. AdamFriedland.show if you want to shop our merch. My guest this week is United States Senator from Connecticut, Chris Murphy. Murphy's made a name for himself in the Democratic Party as an outspoken advocate against Donald Trump during his second term. Now, I know what you're thinking. Connecticut? Seriously? The 48th largest state? Like, big whoop, you know? And folks, I'd be lying if I didn't have many of these prejudices in my own heart at various points in my life. I thought people from Connecticut were drunks, Neanderthals, criminals. We all know the saying, you know, watch your wallet, here comes a Connecticution. We've all heard the joke, you know, should I say, I don't want to, okay, I'll say that. You know the joke. What do you call a man from Connecticut with a sheep under one arm and a goat under the other arm? A bisexual. It's not funny. But I implore you, dear viewer, not to look down on Senator Murphy just because of where he's from. My conversation with Senator Murphy taught me an important lesson about the power of dialogue, and hopefully it does the same for you guys as well. Connecticut holds an important place in history and culture. For instance, it was the site of the world's first helicopter and the world's first hamburger, and of course, the world's first condom, which was made out of sheep intestine. And of course, people not from Connecticut improved upon it by taking the intestine out of the sheep first. So guys, please enjoy my conversation with Chris Murphy. This guy is from Connecticut. He might be the president one day. It'd be good for the show. If you want to be the president, come on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator from the great state of Connecticut, state of Connecticut, Chris Murphy, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Hi. Yeah, clap, please.
Everybody. Great to be with you.
Hi, thanks.
Yeah. I walked out a little early.
It's been constant disrespect since this guy came here.
I wanted to know if it was like inspired by Dick Cavett or a direct reproduction.
No, it's ridiculous that this is my job, but it's really awesome.
It's fantastic.
I mean, it's kind of. Does it feel demeaning for you? Do you feel like how
this
far?
This is a new part of the job.
Yeah, you have to like show your personality and authenticity, right?
Yeah. Like I got to be real. I got to be a real person.
Yeah.
It used to be that like you could just do like 2 cable shows.
Yeah.
Maybe if you were a big deal, you'd show up on late night TV, and now,
Now you have to talk about.
You used to do a show called Come Town.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So did you used to be? You used to be from the red onion capital of America.
Yeah, that's right.
So we both have a checkered past. But Connecticut, I know it's your home state. I know you're gonna listen. You love your state.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit bullshit. It's a little bit bullshit to me.
Just because you sort of view it as being the obstacle between Boston and New York.
The drive, I've never not had traffic.
Yeah, it's a popular place.
No.
Places that no one wants to be don't have traffic.
I understand. It's not like a real fucking city over here in New York. No. I mean, first of all, it has the Jersey thing where it's like it's either New York or New England, Boston, right?
Yeah, like we're both tri-state
Yeah.
and we're New England.
Was the Red Onion place, was that a New York zone or was that a New England zone?
New England zone. So like I grew up, Weathersfield, Connecticut is like a Hartford area. So I grew up in the center of the state.
So your Sox Celtics?
I'm Sox, Celtics, but New York Giants.
Why not Patriots?
I
respect that.
I rooted for whoever my father rooted for when he was growing up. Patriots didn't exist. So if you were like growing up in Central Connecticut, you were Boston fans, but for football, you were New York. So yeah, I've got both New York and Boston.
Your colleague was from the New York side. The other senator from Connecticut. Blumenthal.
Right.
So do you guys kind of have you guys cover different sides of the state?
I mean, you don't really need
He covers the insider and trading side of the state.
The state's like that big. You don't really need you don't need to divvy it up in half. So Blumenthal is like one of these relentless politicians who goes to everything, right?
Yeah.
He works like Saturdays, Sundays. So he in some
Shabbos.
ways he does the job for both of us.
Really? So you don't have to do crap?
Well, I mean,
you do your hot dog tour of Connecticut.
I do my hot dog tour to Connecticut.
Dude,
but that's personal.
I was mean to you guys on that call. Can I apologize real quick? I mean, it was.
They told me that you weren't going to say that you were not impressed by the hot dog tour and that you weren't going to bring it up.
I said I was like, I've been doing a lot of research. I was like, does he play guitar? Like, is there anything? And they're like, listen. He does a hot dog tour, and I think framing him as a hot dog aficionado might be
super
good.
Embarrassing that was like the go-to.
And I'm like, I feel actively depressed after hearing that.
Yeah, that's what makes me interesting.
You ruined my day. And listen, you guys are professionals. I don't like, and I just want to take accountability for that. But that was one of the worst things I've ever heard.
It's not a reflection on them. It's a reflection on they have very little material to work with their boss.
Bruce Hornsby fan.
Yes.
Yeah, you took your staff to Bruce Hornsby.
Well, I'm going to take them to Bruce Hornsby. He's playing in D.C. next week. So
none of them know who he is. I asked.
No, nobody knows. And actually, if you I sort of assume that everybody knows his signature song, the way it is.
Boys, what were we listening to before you came here?
But like
Zach, what were you listening to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fewer people know even one of Bruce Hornsby's songs.
Well, he played in the Dead, right?
Yeah, he toured with the Dead for like 10 years. And he does like really kind of like interesting avant-garde stuff now.
He tickles them damn
He does
keys.
tickle the ivories.
Yeah.
He's a great pianist.
Here's what I got on you. Hot dog aficionado. He likes walking around and Bruce Hornsby. It sounds like
walking around. I think that's
as a fact pattern. That's the BTK killer. We got to do I don't know. You got to get a tattoo, a snake. I don't know.
I walk across the state from one end to the other. I don't just enjoy walking around.
Oh, they made it sound like you were some sort of hobo searching through trash like a raccoon.
There was a guy, and I don't remember when it was, but like 100 years ago
in
Connecticut, called the Leather Man, and he dressed in full, complete leather, head to toe, and walked the state nonstop, continuously. And so you would get really excited when you heard rumors of the Leather Man showing up to your town, and people would rush down to see him.
In New York, they have a couple nightclubs, for leather guys.
It would be much more interesting. My walk across Connecticut would be much more interesting.
So growing up in the Red Onion town.
Yep.
It's a mark of pride. I saw the mascot you guys have.
Do we have a Red Onion mascot?
Oh my God! You don't even know about your own place, dude.
I mean, I grew up there. I haven't lived there for a long time.
So you went to public high schools growing up?
Yep.
What was your vibe like growing up? You were a cool guy?
No.
You got girlfriends?
No, I would be. I would I'm who you would expect. I would be. I was president of the class.
Yeah.
Started a Young Democrats club when I was 16 years old. I know. I would know. I was I was a born organizer, right? So I organized the touch football games in the neighborhood, and I organized the student protests against the dress code. So that's just who I was.
You're radical.
It wasn't much of a dress code. It was just that we couldn't wear baseball. caps.
Oh yeah, and you took it to the man.
Yeah, I
you
did.
fought all the way to the top.
Yeah, it was
You did
justice.
you were elected at 29 to the state senate. Is that
I was
correct?
20. No, I was 20. I was 25 when I
25.
was elected to the state legislature.
So you just never had fun.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this since I'm an adult. It's a weird, it's definitely a strange life, right? To live like your entire life in elected politics. I mean, I wasn't really in the public eye when I was a state legislator, but it kind of fucks with you to do this job and only this job.
It's kind of like a pejorative these days, right? Career politician. The Republicans like to say that having experience, like that means you're bad.
Yeah. No, and when I first ran for the Senate, I mean, that was the primary knock on me, that I hadn't, I was a lawyer and I practiced law against Linda McMahon.
Yeah. Having experience and having talent should be something that's celebrated in for a position, like in any career field. And these days it's like we need like private equity, evil business thing, and that makes you better than someone that's like knows how to do the job,
Yeah.
And so it's just like, I think, do you feel like that mirrors like kind of the decay of like trust in like our elected officials or institutions? Like it's a bad thing that you like do something for 30 years?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of evidence to people that democracy is working writ large, or that experience does anything other than bind you to the status quo and to the powerful people in Washington. So there's a lot of evidence that the longer you stay, the more complicit you become in the project of just enriching the folks at the very top. But I've always opposed term limits, largely because I think it's kind of, just this big act of surrender. Like you're giving up on democracy. You're basically saying democracy can't sort out who amongst those who have been there 10 years are good or bad, and so we're just going to be arbitrary about it. Why not instead fix the problems with democracy, fix the rules, so it's a lot easier for somebody to run, and we just don't elect telemarketers, which is kind of what we're doing now, right? Like you are...
Or someone that has a meltdown at CVS on Facebook Live about masks.
Right,
you can be in the House of Representatives like 6 months later.
Right, so if you know how to sort of engage in clickbait politics, or you know how to raise money, or you're super wealthy, those are the three things that can qualify you for office right now, and maybe we should kind of diagnose that and try to change it.
You ever chill with Marjorie or no?
No, I've never met her.
Yeah.
The House and
what
the Senate
if she's
are
like really cool? What if she's like, you're like, that chick's crazy, but like she's honestly she's kind of funny.
Like, I mean, we all had like super crazy friends that we would not necessarily want to represent us in Congress, but were right, interesting to hang with.
She's like that guy, that friend you have in 7th grade who's like pure, like has no attachment to morality, but that makes them like the funniest guy in the world.
Yeah, like lots of my friends are totally unqualified to be in public service, but super awesome to get a beer with.
Yeah, those guys always go into rehab at like 16, right? They always like fall off. They're not funny anymore. My friend David. This won't go in the episode, okay?
Let's talk about David.
David gave a presentation in class, and he like whispered to me, he's like, I have a boner right now. And I'm like, he's an insane guy. It's in 8th grade. And I'm like, you're a maniac. And then, yes, of course, his parents sent him to emotional problem school 3 years later. He really, I don't know where he is. You were elected to the House. I saw a campaign ad from your... You know which one I'm talking about?
No, I don't know.
From your first run at the House. You beat an old lady?
Yeah, she'd been there for Nancy Johnson.
Nancy Johnson.
She'd been there for 24 years, longest serving congressperson in the history of Connecticut.
She freaking hated you too.
She did not like me.
She didn't like you.
Yeah.
Did you see the ad where it's like
the fake me?
The fake you, and you're like high-fiving a drug dealer?
Yes.
Yeah. She kind of made you look cool, maybe accidentally.
Yeah, the actor, I think, was, you only saw the back of him, but he projected as better looking than me.
Yeah. And you were dapping him, you were like, I'm good, like, people...
A guy. Yeah, I looked a little dangerous,
Yeah, it's like when I was growing up, I'd hear like a rapper say like, my Jewish lawyer beat the case for me. I'd be like, that's right. We got him off of he committed a crime. Made me feel great.
That ad,
as a 12-year-old.
That ad didn't do well for her.
Yeah, where she's passed? Probably no.
No, she's still alive.
She is.
Yes.
Nancy
Johnson.
Where's she at?
She's living in Connecticut. I don't know if New Britain, West Hartford, Connecticut.
We gotta hit her up.
I ran into her. I saw her at a church service like a year and a half ago.
You go to the same church?
What's that?
You go to the same church as Nancy?
Well, I was like trying out churches, like so I was like trying to find like a new church, and I just happened to be at hers one Sunday morning. But she, she was like a true 1980s era moderate Republican. She was pro-choice. She was pro-environment.
She's a Connecticut Republican.
She's a Connecticut Republican, and so like I don't want to speak for Nancy Johnson, but my impression is that she would be, a classic kind of never Trump Republican. There's just like no home for her now in the party, and even back then, increasingly, there was no home for her. So
who's your first enemy in politics?
My first enemy?
Who's the first guy that was like, I'm gonna fuck with Murphy, and you're like, you don't.
Well, I mean, the first time I ran for the state legislature, I ran against another guy who had been there for a very long time, and I think he was equally pissed that at the time a 24-year-old had beat him, that he moved out of town, I think within about 12 months of the race.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was like a Wild West
He had to
showdown.
get out
It was a Wild West showdown.
You drove him out?
Angelo Fusco.
Oh, he's an Italian guy.
Yeah, he's Italian.
Maybe with the fishes. Maybe with the fishes.
I never made peace with him. I never saw him again. But he didn't stay in town for very long. So.
Was there an undercurrent of like kind of an ethnic white tension in that?
There was no ethnic undercurrent.
Was there like
race.
Lower East Side kind of Ellis Island?
Zero.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be from Connecticut. You know that?
How so?
My dipshit ancestor from Lithuania Shtetl got literally on the wrong boat.
Was supposed to go to Connecticut.
His 8 brothers moved to New Haven, and one brother was like, just got off the boat and he's like, where is this New Haven? And they were like, no, it's Africa. You're in Africa right now. You're in Cape Town, South Africa right now.
And
my parents are from Cape Town.
And he gave up. He didn't make a second attempt to
what,
get to
he can get another boat trip all that way? No, it must have been crazy actually for those, because they were very uneducated. They didn't have color photography. They didn't I
wonder when he realized. Like, you think when he actually got off?
I think he was like Herschel or Yankel or his brother was supposed to meet him at the place, and he's like, "Where the fuck is?"
So you could
This is Africa.
You could have been a Connecticutian.
All right, so I think you first came to like national prominence during Sandy Hook, and I remember in 2013 you did a filibuster. 2016, sorry.
Right after the Pulse shooting.
Right after the Pulse shooting.
Yeah.
And gun violence is like, that's a shit fight. Like, or a gun, trying to fucking, you guys got one during Biden, right? You got one thing.
We got the first bill in 30 years.
Whereas like 1,200 guys now have to get checked or something. What was the bill?
Well, no, there's like the bill is like a comprehensive bill. It put like $13 billion into mental health and community safety, and then it made like 5 changes in gun laws, all of them small, but none of them insignificant. One of them closing the boyfriend loophole. So if your
boyfriend can get a gun?
No. So if you beat up, the law used to be that if you beat up your wife, you couldn't get a gun. Your guns would actually be taken away from you. But if you abused your girlfriend, you could keep your guns. So we closed that loophole. We said if you're under 21, you have to have a waiting period before you buy an assault weapon. We should just not sell assault weapons to 18-year-olds, but at least now we've got a 10-day waiting period. But it's not a coincidence that since we passed that bill, gun violence has come way down in the country. So we kind of proved that if you change the laws of the country and you're a little bit more careful about who gets guns, you actually can save lives.
It's just like,
it's not rocket science.
I looked up the length you did. It was 15 hours. You did your filibuster.
Oh, the filibuster was 15 hours, right?
Okay, and that you know what ranking you are.
I mean, I'm going down in the rankings, right? So I assume, am I outside of the top 10 now?
I think you're 10.
Yeah.
How's that feel?
I'm top 10.
It hurts.
Yeah, but I'm top 10.
Double digits.
Well, so here's what happened with the filibuster is that we got what we asked for. So I had to stop the filibuster because we had a demand, and normally filibusters are truly performative.
What are the rules? Yeah, like you can't pee?
You can't sit down or leave your desk. There are rumors that when Strom Thurmond
was in a wheelchair.
Well, there were rumors that when he did his filibuster, well, first there were no cameras, so who knew what the fuck you were doing in your filibuster? There were rumors that he was leaving regularly to go to the bathroom and coming back to go to the bathroom and come back. But no, for mine, I had to stand at the desk for 15 hours.
Did you pee your pants?
I did not pee my pants.
How you had to hold it?
Yeah, you gotta hold it. It's like your adrenaline is running, and like your body's telling you, don't pee your pants.
What shoes do you wear?
Regular black shoes. It wasn't
like
like dress shoes.
Adult shoes?
Dress shoes.
You didn't like running
Booker
shoes?
when he did his he wore sneakers.
You think that's pussy?
Which is kind of cheating.
Yeah, it's a little bit
kind of cheating.
It's kind of cheating.
Yeah, like
Strom Thurmond in a wheelchair. That's bullshit.
He was in a wheelchair at the time. I don't think he was in a wheelchair at the time of his filibuster. Later in life,
he wasn't. Because when I saw that he did 24 hours, if it's a wheelchair, it shouldn't be like it's an asterisk.
No, I agree with that, but I don't think that's actually. But I don't think that's an accurate.
Chip.
Yeah, I don't think it's an accurate historical representation.
Okay, so I'm sorry I disrespected the racist filibuster of Strom Thurmond.
I'm glad. I think.
Thank you for your honor of your as a member of the Club of 100. You've done the honorable thing.
It was very moving to be on the floor for Corey's
to have him stop
filibuster.
Oh, I thought you were.
No. When he broke the record, and so Booker was on the floor for my entire 15 hours,
yeah.
And so when Corey did his 20-something hour filibuster, I stayed on the floor with him for the whole thing.
Do the Republicans try to like distract, like laser pointer maybe, or
no?
They're like boo. What if you get scared? It's such a stupid thing that you're describing.
Standing and talking.
You can't
for a
sit.
long time.
It's literally like you're like something from Survivor, where you're trying to get immunity.
Yeah, but
it's the rules of the government.
Yeah, but so mine again mine was not just performative, because what I was saying is that I'm not going to sit down and let you move on to any other business until you schedule votes on gun measures.
Yeah.
And the idea was we weren't going to win them, but at least we'd sort of show the country that Republicans were against common sense things. One of the things we were demanding was saying that if you're on the terror watch list, like if we think you might be a terrorist, you should not be able to buy a gun. And so we got Republicans to vote against that, which is part of what helped unelect at least one of them in the next election. So that's why I had to stop, was that the Republican majority said, okay, we'll give you your votes on what you want.
You got to take a shit.
No, I got what I wanted.
Just be real, dude.
I got what I wanted.
Paul Pierce, too. We all know. In the finals, when he went in the wheelchair, we all know what that was.
He had to go take a crap?
He pooped his pants.
No, he had serious injury.
How many times have you met our number 45 and 47?
I met him a handful of times in the first term. I have not talked to him in the second term.
Is he just Trump?
Yeah. I did
just like on camera, off camera. He's just Trump.
Just Trump. So I did a 45-minute phone call with him after one of the horrible mass shootings during his first term, because he was at that time pretending like he was going to do a bill that changed the gun laws.
Oh, good on him.
And for that 45-minute call, all he talked about was
Rosie O'Donnell.
No, was what the name of the bill was going to be. All he wanted to talk about was the name of the bill. Didn't want to talk about the substance of the bill, how it was going to be passed. All he wanted to talk about for 45 minutes was the name of the bill.
The name?
The name of the bill.
So you guys get a good name?
He's Trump. I don't even remember what we came up with.
So you were like workshopping names with Trump?
Shopping names of the Trump gun control bill, but it never went any further. We never went any further than that.
Did he have any good ones? Do you remember, like, Mr. President, that's all right?
I don't remember. I do remember he didn't want gun control to be in the title, which was kind of patently obvious to anybody on the call.
That's kind of smart.
You're probably not going to put that in the title, but I don't. I think he liked. Oh, I do remember. I think he did like the term gun safety.
Good. Trump shot. That's not bad.
Yeah. But that was it. Like that was the sum total of our.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Just the name.
Why does the first term, from my perspective, it feels different? It felt different than this. I remember during the first term that the terms fascism, Nazi were bandied about, and the Steele dossier and the Mueller report, and we were waiting on the smoking gun, and Rachel Maddow convinced my dad that Vladimir Putin was trying to kill him, and it seemed like he was more interested in just going to Buckingham Palace and going to dinner, doing the sword dance in Saudi Arabia. He just wanted to go be treated like he's the best guy. When COVID broke out, my assumption was if he wants to enact fascism, he could a global health crisis. He could just declare martial law to assume absolute power.
Yeah.
And I'm I think he's too lazy for fascism.
Yes.
Right. So what is, in your estimation, I know there's a Supreme Court decision that has equipped them with the ability to liquidate the civil service. The guys he had the first time are different than the guys he had the second time. What's the difference here? Why does this feel different?
Yeah, so I think that's part of the answer, but your sort of shorthand for this is right. I mean, he just was not ready to do, I think, what was in his gut in the first term, which is to try to seize a whole bunch of power for the executive branch, but he was not surrounded by people who knew how to do that, and he hadn't thought at all about how to do that. So in the 4-year interim, the Republican Party kind of becomes dominated by two underlying dangerous ideas. One is that democracy is kind of outdated and antiquated. That becomes kind of a mainstream Republican idea that like you can't keep up with China or Russia with the inefficiency of democracy. So we need something more nimble, like a CEO style. And then the second idea that becomes mainstream in the Republican Party is that the left, Democrats, are like an existential threat to the country, that America is really a white Christian country, and that Democrats who believe that multiculturalism is our strength are a threat, and they need to be disposed with at any cost. So even if we have to get rid of democracy, which may be what we need to do to keep with China anyway, it's justified if it's what eliminates Democrats and the sort of mainstream left from our politics. So when he becomes president, you just have a whole bunch of believers that are ready to populate the administration who are actually enthusiastic about the project of destroying democracy for a host of different reasons. And they put together a plan to do it, and from day one, they start operationalizing it.
Is that Project 2025?
Yeah, I think Project 2025 is part of it, but I think a lot of their plans were so insidious that they weren't dumb enough to actually write them into Project 2025. I think they have always envisioned using the DOJ in order to try to hunt and silence their political enemies. They didn't write that into Project 2025, but that clearly has been part of their plan.
I think because of the Russiagate stuff, my assumption when Project 2025 was coming up during the election, and we were told that this is the most important election ever, and then, we saw that debate performance and we're like, if it's the most important, then why the Democrats don't seem to be taking it very seriously. And so when I heard Project 25, it sounded conspiratorial and it didn't sound like a real thing. And it took me a while to actually realize, and very shortly before the actual election, that, oh, this is actually substantive because it's coming from the Heritage Foundation.
Correct.
And effectively, the American conservative project has been, I don't know, is this right? But since Reagan, to liquidate elements of the federal government and kind of sell them off to the private sector.
Correct. And then whatever is left, turn it into essentially mechanisms for enrichment of the corporate crowd and the economic elite crowd. So, you might not liquidate all the regulatory agencies, but they just get turned into places that continue to flow money and resources to the very powerful.
My assumption was always we can get through whoever's the president because we have a robust civil service. So there are enough little old ladies that go to the Department of Health and Human Services and
running the vaccine program to make sure that our kids don't die.
And that's why planes don't crash into each other.
Right.
And that's why America can kind of function if Bush is the president or Obama's the president or Trump's the president the first time. What is Doge now after Elon's gone? Have there been more liquidations of departments in the executive branch? Or, I remember hearing that they were going to give it to Palantir. Is that what happened? We don't hear about that anymore.
Yeah, I think you're right. You don't hear about it as much because you don't have a celebrity running the process of terminating public employees, but they are still laying people off at HHS, for instance, and at NIH.
Yeah.
There continue to be mass layoffs. A lot of it stopped because the courts stepped in and said they couldn't do much of it. So the courts have slowed down the process of mass firings, but they're certainly not hiring anybody new, and some of these agencies, are effectively gutted and ceasing to exist in functional form.
Yeah, it's just funny. It's I feel like there are things that happen that are in the public eye and then they disappear so fast, right? And we're appalled by things. When Los Angeles happened, right?
Right.
When we saw human beings being taken from their families, and in the abstract, I understood that due process had been suspended and that people that are the most vulnerable members of society are being taken from their families and put in effectively cages. You guys are up against so much right now, and like, how do you there's like 18,000 different things that you have to like fix.
Correct. Yeah. So listen, I think this is the biggest struggle for all of us, is to understand, what is real and a persistent threat. What is Trump just trying to change the news cycle? And so I think we're starting to figure out where our power is, but it does affect how I spend my time.
Yeah.
So I spend a lot of my time these days just trying to help stand up mobilization all around the country. So I, for instance, stopped raising money for my own political campaign, and now I only raise money right now. I only raise money for protest groups all around the country, and I've given out probably close to $1 million to protest groups, just trying to help people organize around things like Jimmy Kimmel being taken down off the air, so that we can give people some hope that if we mobilize around, for instance, a boycott of Disney, that we can actually start to save some of our constitutional rights.
Yeah. I want to try something, but I need my cell phone for this. I have an idea.
All right.
Okay. I left my cell phone over there.
All right.
Okay. So, I'm sorry about this. It's unprofessional of me.
Props.
Okay. So, okay. We're going to try something.
All right.
Okay. So,
You're making me nervous.
No, I'm not. It's fine, dude. Don't worry, dude. Fucking don't worry. Okay. Okay. I'm from a foreign country, okay?
Okay.
And I'm also stupid, okay?
Yeah.
This is in this hypothetical situation. Not because I'm from a foreign country, just because I happen to be a stupid guy. Just to be clear.
Got it.
Okay. Could you please explain to me, I just arrived in America. Could you please explain to me, what is the Democratic Party? Okay.
So, you ready?
Yeah.
Right. So the Democratic Party stands for the idea that everybody in this country should have the opportunity to succeed, and that the economy today is rigged to favor billionaires and corporations over everybody else. The Democratic Party also believes that our democracy is rigged right now to support the powerful and not the powerless. What we stand for is giving more power to workers and making sure that the people are in charge of democracy, not the economic elites.
Thank you. Okay.
How long was that?
It's good. Play it. Can you play it? No, pause. Sorry, I thought this was going to be really funny. Thomas, no, now they want me to translate it. Just, okay, how do I make it play?
What are you using? What app are you using?
Google Translate.
Oh.
Thomas, it's going to be a hilarious bit. How do I make it play in my language? Dude, this is so embarrassing. This is just so fucking embarrassing right now.
This is what editing is for, right?
This is the biggest opportunity of my life. Is a member of the club of 100. Your friend,
and this is
Lindsey Graham, dude. You're like fucking, you're
royalty.
This is so embarrassing. I told him I'm a tech aficionado when I booked him.
I got a heart out.
What time's your heart out? Where do you have to go? The island?
Come on.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm nervous and I deflected.
Do it again.
What do you mean do it again?
On my phone.
It's mean to do, but he's.
But I got to do it again.
Okay. Allow access. Yeah. So what's the Democratic Party? Blah 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 blah. No, you put it in Greek, dude. I want it Chinese. Okay, and also it's Greek. Oh shit, dude. Thomas, he's speaking English. I'm speaking. This is so embarrassing, dude. This is one of the biggest moments of my career.
Well, what's supposed to happen here?
This guy knows John Thune. This guy, he knows come on.
So what's the Democratic Party?
I'm the host.
I'm doing it again.
What?
All right. The Democratic Party stands for.
What is the Democratic Party?
Just listen.
Okay.
It's going to be hilarious, guys.
Okay. The Democratic Party stands for the idea that everyone in this nation should have an opportunity to succeed, not just billionaires and millionaires.
That's good. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. And now play.
嘿，民主党团体是什么？好的。
I got it. Thanks a lot. Guys, let's give it up for that bit. How funny was it? I see that there are like a lot of, like when you look at the popular sentiment of your voting base, you see 8% of Democrats support, you know, what's happening in Gaza. You see that like, you know, ICE has a 13% favorability amongst you guys. And then like, then we can link that to like child separation policies were happening under Biden. And like Obama did take a small DHS program and expand it dramatically.
Yeah.
And like beyond all of that, like it kind of seems to me the Democrats' voting base is not reflected in the actions of the party more often than not.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two things going on right now. One is that people are just pissed off that we haven't been more effective in stopping Trump's authoritarian takeover. So you've got our approval ratings in the toilet, in part because our own folks want us to be fighting harder. But second, I think to your point, you know, we over time became a technocratic party that advertised we could just run government well and we could make some adjustments to the market to make your life better, instead of being a moral party, right, which talked about the economy and the world in moral terms.
Yeah.
And that means that we have looked illegitimate in the eyes of many when our solution to a fundamentally morally broken healthcare system was to just send more money to the insurance companies.
Sure.
And that we looked like we didn't understand what was happening in Gaza when we talked about trying to manage behind the scenes the number of Gazans who were being killed on any single one day, instead of just saying, no, for the time being, the United States cannot continue to sell weapons to Israel until this carnage stops.
Why hasn't the party, what we're seeing is in terms of favorability ratings, Trump has a higher favorability than the Democratic Party, even with everything happening right now, with you know, like a rise in political violence, like him stoking the flames, you know, and say like, you know, blaming it on the other side instead of saying calm down everyone. Like it seems like there's a grappling, and like you guys are fucking fighting each other, like in the party to define what the message is, and it's they're really good at falling in line. You know, they're like, okay, we're MAGA now, except for like Mitt Romney and you know, Cheney's daughter.
Yeah, you basically get kicked out of the party anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a cult of personality right now, and so of course they're going to have more sort of solidarity in terms of how popular the party is. Listen, people want to see us fighting, and they have not seen us draw that moral line in the sand about what Trump has done. We've had opportunities to do it. Back in the spring, we could have chosen not to fund the government unless there was some commitment that there was going to be a little bit less totalitarianism. We maybe shouldn't have all showed up to the State of the Union speech to have provided a nice bipartisan backdrop for, you know,
To hurt his feelings.
Yeah,
hurt
right.
his feelings.
And now we are, you know, 2 weeks away from another moment where the party could say, we have no moral obligation to pay the bills for the destruction of our democracy. And so if you want our votes for this budget, then you've got to build some protections into this budget so that there's less of a chance that we lose our constitutional rights.
What are the discussions like within your caucus? Because it seems like, you know, like why here in New York City, the biggest city in America, like why haven't we seen party leaders endorse the Democratic nominee for mayor?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for them, but it's sort of the same feeling that the party has historically had about Bernie, right? That Bernie's politics are fringe, they're dangerous, when in fact Bernie's politics and Mamdani's politics, to an extent, are the pathway to a crossover into Trump's base, right? Legitimate populists, people that are actually talking about plans to take power from the corporatists and give it to regular people. That's the only way that you're going to reach into Trump's base and steal some of his voters who are coming to the conclusion that he's not a legitimate populist. So I just have always drawn issue with this idea that populism, hostility to market fundamentalism is a danger inside the party. I think that's our corporate crowd selling us a lie. And I think the only way that we're ever going to be competitive again in a place like Missouri or Ohio is being a true populist party that attacks corporate power. And that's the sort of route and the path that both Bernie and Zoran are showing us.
Two things. One is like, to what extent is it his political message and versus him being a young, charismatic talent that threatens entrenched powers that be? And the second thing is like, what do you do about the corporatist side of the party? Like, how do you, like within your caucus, you have a tremendous amount of people that are opposed to that vision of a path forward. How do you coalesce behind that? Like Chris Murphy is trying to enact this. Like, how do you convince Chuck Schumer? Like, you know?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, part of it is taking a look at, you know, candidates who are running in swing states as populists and show that they can win. Part of it is to show that Zoran can get a very big majority in this upcoming election, to show that these are actually candidates who can win in general elections. I know New York City is not the same, you know, as Minnesota, but I think that's part of the test.
Are they threatened by young talent?
I think they're threatened by the idea that people don't pay their dues. Yeah. Right? I think the whole system is, you know, generally built on this idea that you sort of wait your time until you run. I didn't do that. I ran when I was 25. But yes, I think that folks who have waited their time, moved through the ladder, don't like the fact that somebody can just show up at 24, 25, 30 years old, run and win. That is a recipe for disaster for our party if we don't welcome new young candidates in. But yeah, I think that's sort of I think, you know, you would feel that way if you were middle management at a corporation. You wouldn't love the young hotshot coming in and sitting at the desk next to you, and that happens in politics too.
But what if he's like, he could like beat Trump, or like he's like good? Like,
yeah.
I mean, is it more important that like he's not threatening to like Dianne Feinstein or like whoever, like people that have been there for? I know she's not there anymore.
She's not there anymore.
She's not around.
Yeah. I'm not defending it. I'm just trying to like plug it. I'm just trying to like put it in context that it is not a unfamiliar human emotion, right? To be envious of somebody that is younger and perhaps smarter than you, and perhaps being openly or subconsciously hostile. That doesn't mean that it's right, and that means you've got to build a party apparatus that actually welcomes in young people, which is why, you know, what David Hogg has been doing is really, really important, like directly confronting this idea that we are hostile often as a party to young people, more hostile, I would argue, than the Republican Party has been.
I guess, like, do you get that treatment as like you're a young bull, you're like 52-year-old senator?
Yeah.
You know, you're a sprightly young man.
Right.
They're like, what is this freaking millennial coming through with his cell phones and his TikToks? I mean, like, I think by the
I'm still in the young half. Guy? I think I'm in the I still think I'm in the younger half of the United States Senate.
Guys, fall is here. Beers are colder. Football's back, and the fits are getting layered. If you're still rocking the old beat-up boxers, those flannels and jeans, we gotta talk. Upgrade to MeUndies. These things are ridiculously soft, like don't want to take them off soft. They're made with micro-modal fabric that feels like a cloud. And they still breathe when things heat up. They've got legit stretch, whether you're crushing wings on the couch or tossing the old pigskin, you're covered. And just in time for spooky season, MeUndies limited edition Halloween line features fun, festive prints, including glow-in-the-dark underwear, so you can bring the spooky vibes underneath it all. Style for everyone. MeUndies has a cut for every butt, but over 20 different styles in 100 different colors and prints. Unmatched comfort. MeUndies' signature super soft micro-modal fabric is breathable, stretchy, and unbelievably cozy. Perfect for crisp mornings, chilly nights, and everything in between. Whether you're layering up for a hike or lounging in flannel all day, MeUndies moves with you and keeps you comfy. Want even more seasonal comfort? Try the Breathe line, designed with moisture-wicking and anti-odor tech to keep you fresh throughout the fall workouts or just a long day of pumpkin picking. Responsibly sourced. These are sustainably sourced materials, and they work with partners that care for their workers. Problem-free philosophy. Not happy with your first pair of MeUndies? It's on MeUndies. So with more than 30 million pairs sold and 90,000 five-star reviews, MeUndies are essential fall must-have in every drawer, and 90,000 one-star reviews. Listen, guys, I've been putting on my festive Halloween glow-in-the-dark underpants. I've been crushing wangs. I've been throwing the pigskin. And I've been wicking my moisture at the gym. You know me, I'm just a guy. And MeUndies is a fall essential for my audience who listen to me. They listen to me about everything. So right now, as a listener of this show, you can get cozy and spooky for less with deals up to 50% off at MeUndies.com/TAFS and enter promo code TAFS. That's MeUndies.com/TAFS, promo code TAFS for up to 50% off MeUndies. Comfort that's made for fall. Guys, hair loss isn't just about hair. It's about how you feel when you look in the mirror. Hims helps you take back that confidence with access to simple, personalized care that fits your life. Hims offers convenient access to a range of prescription hair loss treatments with ingredients that work, including chews, oral medication, serums, and sprays. Doctor-trusted, clinically proven ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil can stop further hair loss and regrow hair in as little as 3 to 6 months. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hims brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. No hidden fees, no surprise costs, just real, personalized care on your schedule. Think of Hims as your digital front door that gets you back to your old self with simple 100% online access to trusted treatments for real health concerns all in one place. For simple online access to personalized and affordable care for hair loss, ED, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/TAFS. That's hims.com/TAFS for your free online visit. hims.com/TAFS. Individual results may vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride. Featured products include compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. See website for full details, restrictions, and important safety information. Guys, sometimes it's hard to keep track of all your different accounts for financial things, right? Like 401ks, properties, investments. I'm terrible at money. I forget about crap all the time. I had everything in checking until a year ago. So feel organized and confident in your finances with Monarch, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean interface on your laptop or your phone. And right now, just for our listeners, Monarch is offering 50% off your first year with the code TAFS at monarch.com. When I tried Monarch, I learned a lot of surprising things about my finances, including the fact that I identified that I wasn't saving as much as I thought, and I noticed an inefficient investment allocation, and I discovered forgotten 401ks from past jobs. This is a true story. And I realized how much they were worth, and I understood how much cash was sitting idle. And what I realized was how stressful and time-consuming juggling more than one finance app is, etc. How do I use Monarch? I use it to maximize my investments, increase my savings rate, and easily review my finances with my partner and/or financial advisor. It happens to be the same person. What I've done since I joined Monarch is that I maximize my investments, increase my savings rate, and easily review my finances with my partner or my financial advisor, and by keeping a clear view of my financial health week to week and long term, etc. Listen, I'm a procrastinator. Money stresses me out. I have my reasons why money stresses me out. I don't like to even know the amount, okay? But sometimes you gotta grow up. You gotta start the Adam Friedland show. You gotta become one of the most famous people in America, perhaps top 10 most famous people in America. It's me, Speed, Hassan, who else? What I found is that Monarch does the work for me, right? I'm a weak man. I need someone to do heavy lifting for me. And sometimes it's not, you shouldn't be ashamed to ask for help. So I ask an app that I can look at on my laptop or my phone. I don't need to track every dollar, but ignoring my finances has cost me in the past. So Monarch helps me stay informed and nothing slips through the cracks. And now I have hundreds, maybe $1,000 to $2,000. Most importantly, Monarch is beloved by users and experts. Monarch isn't just another finance app, it's a tool that real professionals and experts actually love. It was named Best Budgeting App for 2025 by the Wall Street Journal. Forbes named it the best app for couples. It was named CNBC's top fintech company in the world. And a passionate Reddit community of over 34,000 users have shaped how the product is developed. And Monarch wants to thank them because they've had some great ideas. Let's give it up for the Reddit community for Monarch. Fights about money are the #1 reason relationships fall apart. No more guessing, no more hiding, no more I didn't realize we spent that much with Monarch. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code TAFS at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code TAFS. Now back to the show. You're recently separated from your wife in the last couple of years.
Yep. Last year.
Jesus, like last year,
Yeah.
right? Like this, dealing with this right now, and like dealing also with, I would imagine, like a marriage.
Yeah.
You know, like how the fuck do you?
Yeah.
It's gotta that's gotta fucking suck.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, it's
How
a
do you
weird.
handle it?
It's a weird job. I mean, the fact that you have to send out a, public statement about your
You have to just stop the end of the world.
marriage
and then,
breaking down, and then you have to be in the middle of trying to save democracy at the same time.
You're a real freak though.
Yeah,
You're built different.
It's a lot. Yeah, but I have two kids, who are teenagers, and they are going to inherit one world or another world, depending on what happens in the next, 2 years. And so I feel an obligation, not just as a human being, but as a father, to stay in this fight. And I had, for a lot of my career, I think I said this to you on the phone, I had a lot of sort of gray. I could sort of see both arguments in terms of like what the strategic direction should be for the party. I don't have that gray any longer. Like, I see this guy as a present threat, and I believe that if we don't draw a moral line in the sand right now, we're screwed as a nation. I see our party screwed if we continue to march down this neoliberal, market fundamentalist path. We have to be an aggressively populist party that talks about breaking up concentrated corporate power. So I also feel blessed that for one of the first times in my career, I don't have any question. Yeah, I know. I'm not arguing with myself about the direction the country needs to go in or the direction the party needs to go in. And so, no matter what's happening in my personal life, I'm definitely not walking away at this moment of peril and at a moment where I feel like I have something to say.
I mean, it's not, I remember last time I went through a breakup, I had like I realized most of my friends had girlfriends or wives, so I had to start hanging out with my single friends. Did you start chilling more with the single senators? You and Lindsey going out to get some tail?
I have not gone out with Lindsey Graham before or after.
That was just right there. It was tempting.
Yeah.
Is he chill? He's got to be a real.
He's not. Yeah, he's not.
But he's
chill. Chill would not be.
I wouldn't say chill, but
would not be the word to describe.
He's got
Lindsey
chops.
Graham. He's intense.
He's got chops. That guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's a talented politician.
He's Frank Underwood. He's he can make moves. Merrick Garland, I want to talk about because you guys, you could have gone nuclear? Isn't that right?
No, we had no
option.
No, we had no power to stop what they were doing. They were in the majority at the time, and the majority controls the floor of the Senate, and they just chose not to bring a vote on Merrick Garland. We have no ability or power as the minority to force a vote on the Senate floor.
So was there also some sort of like hubris that like Hillary's about to beat Trump and we'll just get it next time?
I mean, I think in retrospect, like, we did not fight hard enough. We didn't sort of bring that case to the American people.
Kind of
I think that was why. No, I think that was why. I think we did have hubris that we thought there's no way Trump was going to win. And so, ultimately we were going to solve this through an election. We did not raise that issue at the crisis level we should have because we were overconfident about the election.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg, am I correct in remembering this? She said she didn't want to retire because she wanted a female president to replace.
No, I don't remember that. Maybe there were reports that she said that behind the scenes.
Obama should have yelled her.
But I don't remember.
She
certainly wouldn't have said that on the record. But yeah,
how little was she?
I mean, we don't hang out with the Supreme Court justices.
But you see her at the State of the Union.
I mean,
she's got.
Yeah,
she
but
seems like.
But I wasn't like measure. I wasn't like.
She was like 3'5", maybe 3'6".
I don't think she's 3'5".
That's what it looked like.
She's taller
on TV, maybe.
So,
yeah,
she's a big personality.
A big personality. Which she used to like work, like lift weights, like remember that. I hated those T-shirts though.
Oh, they're still out there.
The notorious RBG.
Yeah.
What the hell are they talking about? She's just some lady.
It is true.
Not
Like,
a rapper.
if you remember, I mean, at the beginning of that campaign, none of the sort of mainstream media people even covered Trump as a presidential candidate.
I mean, they covered those debates.
They did.
Those were box office.
They were. No, and that's in part why he's getting away with this corruption at scale, because he's doing it in front of everybody for people to see it.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but there does seem to be an element of the country that is more forgiving of the corruption as long as they're watching it, which is wild to me. But I even think my party sometimes feels that way, because if this was uncovered, the crypto scheme, that he was doing it behind the scenes.
Shitcoin? Yeah.
Yeah, we would be talking about it every day, but because it's happening in front of everybody, because he's admitting to the corruption, just like he was admitting to giving to both sides, everybody seems to wave it away, which we shouldn't.
Or he could lie, and his guys are like, of course he's lying, but he's our guy. He's lying for us. That's that's why the media, every time they'd be like, excuse me, fact check, like it never worked, because they're like, his fans were like, yeah, he's lying for us. He's a liar.
And again, it comes back to this thing that the right wing believes, not everybody, but a lot of them, that the left is this existential threat to the nation. And so we need to do whatever is necessary in order to defeat him, including electing somebody that we know is likely a fraud, who we know is lying. But if he's the guy that is going to rid us of the Democratic Party, then we're on board.
I think he was more like just a virus that they couldn't control. Because I remember Ryan's, when we were saying everyone had 1 week, Ryan's would just throw another one out there. Because at first it was Jeb, and then he'd be like, just try. And then they get smacked down in a debate. But what it was like the structure of the RNC was like kind of crumbling. Like the kind of Reince Priebus as their the leader of their party, whatever. What is the DNC? What is the DNC at this point?
Well, but the other thing that was happening was that he was on to this message that the Republican Party couldn't understand the power of, which was this anti-China, anti-outsourcing message, right? So he actually, it wasn't just that he had a brand. He actually did figure out that the sort of big middle of the country wanted somebody who was going to aggressively attack the old rules that allowed for the outsourcing, and no other Republican was willing to do that. And the Democratic Party, frankly, wasn't willing to do it at the level that we should have.
I saw you've talked a lot about how you've gone to the middle of the country. You've gone to Missouri. You've kind of spoken to people that are Republican voters, and it's kind of clarified your, populist economic vision for the party moving forward.
Yeah.
I saw. Real quick, I saw you on Hassan Minhaj. He did this game that really pissed me off with you, the island thing.
Yeah.
And you were about to be like, "Can I
not do it?"
Well, you were like, "Can I critique the premise of this?"
Right.
But he was saying well, would you allow people that don't take the vaccine into the tent if they support your economic populist message? It kind of, to me, represented kind of how Democrats talk about electoral politics. Really, instead of you saying, I'm going to lay out, this is my case, right? You vote for me. I'm sure a racist has voted for you before, right? You don't, but what are you going to do about it? He thought you were the better candidate, right? Every time there's a post-mortem of an election, it feels like the Democrats treat the electorate as treat themselves like victims of the electorate. Mm-hmm. This last time with Kamala, she was like, we were screwed over by Latino men, and it's just there's a vision of electoral politics as you owe me and not we owe you.
Right.
Is that right, or am I missing something? Because that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, listen, I just think we need to be in the business of winning elections rather than being super particular about who votes for us.
Yeah.
And so that's why my argument is that the party simplifies its message, that we become a party that stands for unrigging the economy so that it works for regular people, not corporations, and unrigging the democracy.
Yeah.
And then we're not as particular about who comes in and joins our coalition if you believe in those two things. And guess what? 75% of the country would sign up for those two projects. But because we've applied all these litmus tests as a party, I mean, on issues that I really care about, like guns, we have forced a lot of people out who otherwise, based on their belief in a fairer economy and a better government, would sign up for our project. But because they aren't with us on choice, or they aren't with us on climate, or they aren't with us on guns. They vote for a fraud, for a charlatan.
Is that I feel like it's a little backwards. Like, I think it's like, to me, it feels like you guys only have that, right? You guys only have like, let's be nice to gay people, because there's no substantive like transactional offer. Like you can go to the hospital. Like if you're sick, you can go to the doctor.
Yeah, there's got to be this. You're talking about a moral core. There's got to be a moral core to the party.
Of course, we should be nice to gay people, right? But that's like it feels like a papering over like a lack of substance.
So it's like, no, like what we did, like what was our position on prescription drugs for a decade? We had this plan where we were going to put the Medicare in charge of renegotiating prices with the drug companies on the top 10 drugs to try to get a better bulk price. Like, you lost people, right?
Shut up.
Cap the cost of all drugs in this country. Cap the amount of profits that any drug company can make. Simple, big ideas that transfer power from corporations to regular families.
You could go to the doctor. It works.
Yes, that nobody should get
shouldn't
sick or
lose
die
all
in this
your
country
money.
because you are poor.
Yeah,
right?
people lose their life savings because they have cancer.
Yes,
I mean,
that's
it's just like, it's fucked up.
Yes, and listen, I actually would argue that if you create that bigger tent party that, for instance, brings people in that don't agree with us on transgender rights, that at least they're like in the tent now, and like they have a commonality with us on economics, and now we have an opportunity to talk to them about why transgender kids or gay kids aren't a threat to them personally. But when they just sit in this Fox News closed ecosystem and we don't make any effort to bring them in, we're just continuing to sort of put up the walls.
Yeah. You've investigated a lot of like online conservative culture as well, and you talk a lot about loneliness and the loneliness epidemic, and I want to get into that. You've read conservative writers like Yarvin and Deneen.
Yeah, Curtis Yarvin, who's kind of a more radical conservative.
He's like a monarchist.
He's the monarchist, yeah. Patrick Deneen is an author who sort of just critiques liberalism more broadly from a Catholic conservative perspective.
Okay, and you've listened to a couple of conservative podcasts. Red Scare. What is? I've heard
Red
a lot
Scare.
about that.
Have you heard about Red? Have you heard about
What
Red
is it?
Scare?
What's it about?
Red Scare.
Yeah. What is it? I've heard people talk about it all the time. What? You talk a lot about loneliness. That's been something like a topic that you've been highlighting. And I saw somewhere that you wanted to have a minister of loneliness.
No, I didn't want to have a minister.
I saw that, but first of all, that's English.
That might have
we
been,
have secretaries.
That might have been characterized as a minister of loneliness. No, I have proposed that you should have an office at the White House and the federal government that thinks about how policies make it easier or harder for people to connect to other human beings.
And is it just one guy sitting there?
No, not one guy. It was going to be a committee. I'm not saying it was going to solve the problem. I just think that you should have some place where you talk about the fact that the thing that matters most to us when it comes to our happiness is not our job or our career, how much money we make, but our relationships. And it's a little weird to me that we spend no time in government talking about how our policies increasingly make it hard for people to find companionship. So yeah, there was like a headline that was like, Chris Murphy wants the government to help you make friends. Okay, that sounds like a bullshit.
Nice,
that sounds like a bullshit use of
I'd vote for
government power. But
I'm a great guy.
It is true that we should probably think more about the way in which government is making it harder for people to connect with each other.
Did you ever think about who you would make the minister of loneliness?
There's no minister of loneliness.
I was thinking Extentacion, but he's dead. Jeb Bush would be good.
Jeb, he seems like a
Do you
nice.
remember
He seems
Please
like
Clap?
he seems like a nice guy.
Apparently, I was
Oprah?
looking
Oprah?
up good ideas for Minister of Loneliness. Apparently, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has been very open about his struggles with depression.
So yeah, I'm open for applications for this position that doesn't actually exist and I haven't proposed.
I could do it.
Yeah, you could dual hat
I'll do that and
do the-
Ambassador of Brazil
and do the show.
and the show, Jewish YouTube talk show, Ambassador of Brazil, loneliest man in America.
But when I the first time I ever wrote anything about loneliness was like this short little article called "The Politics of Loneliness," basically saying the government should pay attention to how lonely people are today. I had more feedback to that article than maybe anything else I had written, because like in their daily lives, especially parents, are seeing how catastrophic it is that we spend, in some instances, 50% less time with friends than we did just 30 years ago. And that has consequences for our health, for our politics.
Yeah.
A lot of those folks who showed up on January 6th were pretty lonely people.
They didn't have any friends?
I mean, some of them, I imagine,
Come on, dude.
some of them, I imagine, had some struggles,
losers.
some struggles,
You're saying
some
that they're
struggles
losers?
socially.
You're saying
So-
they're absolute losers.
I'm saying that
Interesting.
loneliness, that
I
when
heard
you
some
feel
popular
lonely,
guys were there too.
when you feel lonely, you feel sad, but then
Yeah.
you feel angry and you're looking for an outlet.
Well, I think beyond loneliness, to me, I think it's a seminal issue of our time, genuinely.
Yeah.
But I think that it needs to be viewed as a symptom, perhaps.
Data will tell you that people have been retreating from companionship since another seminal event, which is the invention of the smartphone. I mean,
I think it was trending that way, and I think it fell off the cliff when people were at home for 2 years.
no, 100%. I mean, so I experienced it as, you know, a human being and as a parent, and I saw the damage it did to my kids and their friends. So when we wrote the sort of COVID rescue bill right after Biden was sworn in, I really spent all my political capital pushing for one thing, and it was a fund for summer camps.
Yeah.
Just to put as many kids as we could that summer of 2021 into summer camp, especially as many poor kids as we could who had really been home alone.
And their families were dying.
And their
too.
families were
Multi-generation-
were sick, or their parents were essential workers, so they, you know, the kids
Their
were home
grandparents
alone,
died.
right? So that's all I was focused on, was like, get kids into summer camp.
Yeah.
So it's and I remember talking right after the pandemic to these kindergarten and first grade teachers who are getting kids back from the pandemic, and they were just like, we will never be able to make up for the lost time that like a 3, 4, 5-year-old
It's
lost.
like a third of your life.
Socialization, right? They
Yeah.
basically showed up at school without basic socialization skills, which meant they couldn't learn, and they were just behind without really the ability to catch up their entire career. And that's the reality for millions of kids in this country.
Yeah, so I think like the way we discuss a lot of these problems is like we're trimming leaves, and that there's something at the trunk. And I think like when we talk about incels, or like when we talk about basement dwellers, or we're talking about people that are kind of squeezed out of the economy. You know, the economy can't absorb labor at the same rate that it used to. And we're talking about people that have kind of been squeezed out of society by various circumstances. And like, I think it's like a little bit like we're just addressing the, the result, and we're not addressing like in a kind of human way, or like a, moral way, like what people what has led people here,
But don't you think it goes even deeper than that? I mean, I do think that there's this transition that happens from the middle of the century to later in the century where, we cared much more about our neighbors and the community and the common good. And we eventually got taught that really the only thing that mattered was profit and efficiency and our personal achievement. And we started to sort of separate as a culture as we became obsessed with our own individual achievement. This is not helped by kind of like the self-help revolution, where we're told that if you're feeling bad, what you need to do is just retreat into yourself instead of joining with others. And we just over time become a culture that is really self-obsessive. And we don't see as much personal health in socialization. And so I think you layer smartphones and the pandemic on top of that cultural shift that happens, and we're
So we need
screwed.
China. We need China to take Twitter away.
I don't know that.
I think Xi. So just say it to him right now. When he's watching, Xi, just come over and take the phone
Well, we'd
away.
be much better if it went away, but it will be replaced by something else. So the only solution here ultimately is for, I hate to say it, but for government to come in and say, here are the rules, right? I mean, here's who can be on social media, here's how kids can interact with it, here's what it can deliver to kids. Give at least young people a fighting shot so that they're not addicted when they become 18.
You've been in Congress 20 years, the legislative branch 20 years, right? And the perception of that as an institution is that it's decayed or crumbled in that period. Does it feel that way for you as someone that goes to the office there? Like, does it feel like it's,
Sure. Yeah, we very rarely pass legislation. Much more of my life now is about critiquing the other side than sitting down and actually passing things that make people's lives better.
How does it feel like as a guy like to be part of like something like that? Do
Yeah, it's not what I signed up for.
you feel like we suck?
Well, I mean, a couple of years ago, I mean, I really deliberately decided to bend over backwards to try to get in those rare rooms where the deals get cut, and I did that for a handful of years, and I got good at it. And for that period of time, whether it was on the gun bill,
the cigar place that you go to, the cigar things,
they're
back
not,
room.
They're not. Yeah, there are legitimate still back rooms in that place.
And you do cigars?
No cigars, but there's booze.
Booze.
Yeah.
You and McConnell are like, this is.
McConnell was not in any of the rooms that I was in, but no, there are still places, they're much more rare, where deals get cut, and I decided to very deliberately try to get in those rooms for a period of time, and then Trump got elected, and those rooms completely disappeared, and it felt like the job was just to try to protect democracy. But yeah, I made the decision to be more purposeful about that work because the job was feeling pretty empty.
Do you feel like it's the hardest era? You know, like in the NBA, they're saying like there's a lot of debate between the eras, like Jordan versus LeBron.
No, there was an era.
You feel like you're playing in the hardest era?
There was an era where like senators were getting caned over the head, right?
Was that, yeah.
I would imagine. I would argue that.
Have two senators ever hooked up, or like congressmen or anything?
Sure.
Really?
There were two Congress people that were married.
They got married. They met at Congress?
I think this is right. I think Sonny, right?
Who? Sonny Bono?
Sonny Bono and Mary Bono.
Oh.
Right?
Oh, and he died in the skiing accident. I Got You, Babe. I want to kind of get into a bigger kind of existential questions. Like, it's breaking.
Yeah.
Right? Do you think can you fix it? Is it really I know you're going to say yes, but like actually like.
Yes,
it must be impossible.
You can actually fix it, right? So,
what is the first structural thing that you would change about the?
Okay, so you're not talking about how do you defeat the sort of slide to totalitarianism. We're talking about how do you fix the actual.
There's shit that
project of democracy.
There are a ton of things in the rules that are implemented that fuck shit working in the legislative branch or the executive branch now. And
so there are some things that you can do internally, right? So I am a believer that the Senate should be a majoritarian institution, ultimately a place where 50 votes passes a piece of legislation, so you can't blame
should the Senate
minority.
Even exist?
Yeah,
I think it's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I think the Senate should probably
but
still.
Why is Wyoming gets as much as California? That's not fair.
We decided, right? The founders decided to make it really hard to pass legislation in this country, right? No, that was and the design. The design was.
They made it really hard.
The design was likely to make it hard to free the slaves, but the design was also because they believed that a faction could very easily corrupt a single parliamentary system and transition democracy into autocracy. So by setting up a really complicated system of government with two houses and a president, they thought it was actually protective of democracy. And I think 250 years into the experiment, you have to come to the conclusion that they were right, no matter how inefficient having a House and the Senate and a presidential signature is.
But haven't we seen, especially during the McConnell reign, like it kind of be a bottleneck?
Yes, which is why ultimately you should get rid of the filibuster and allow for 50 votes in the Senate to be able to pass something. But really, the foundational reform is the way that campaigns are financed.
Yeah.
So, and you've got to pass a constitutional amendment to do that. And I think the only way the Democrats are going to be able to interest people in this country in saving democracy is to be really specific about what we're going to change. And I think that requires either a constitutional amendment or a constitutional convention to essentially allow the legislature to ban private money, corporate money, lobbyist money, anonymous money from politics. I think if you did that, that's probably the most sort of significant balm on the system.
I agree with you. It seems to be the first order of business, but like it seems like, could you even convince the Democratic Party as a whole, like your caucus in Congress? Because I think a lot of Democrats are kind of entrenched in that system.
There's still a ton of billionaires who fund our party. There's still a ton of Democrats who take and rely on corporate contributions. I mean, I'm lucky, and so it's easy for me to sort of talk about getting rid of corporate and PAC money because I am one of these candidates now who has, thousands of people who give me $3, $5 at a time. But what I found was that when I swore off PAC money, more people regular people were willing to give me money because they wanted to reward me for not taking PAC money.
And they can trust you too.
Yeah, they trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they trust me more, and they want to get behind somebody who's going to say, I'm not taking PAC money. And I think that would be the case for other candidates who did it. But yes, our party has become reliant on that sort of corporate PAC and billionaire trough, and it's what makes us a little sclerotic when we try to rally around efforts to change the campaign finance system. That's just the truth.
What is it like? Just walk me through when you're trying to fundraise, you're talking to a billionaire. Like what's the vibe? Like,
yeah, I mean, when
he's like, I'm going to give you this check just cause, but
well, so I'm talking to I don't have to do that.
But like I'm saying,
I don't
when
have to
happens,
do that anymore.
Right,
But I used to do a lot of it. Right.
Yeah.
I used to sit in a cubicle in the Democratic National Committee when I was a House member. For 3-4 hours at a time, just calling people for money. Who are you calling? You're not calling people who are making $30,000.
Of course.
You're calling somebody who's making $3 million.
The monopoly man.
Yeah. Now you're calling Democratic donors by and large, so they're not racists, and they do believe in a progressive tax code. But
they're all
not
racist.
that progressive. But not that. No, they're not. No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
But maybe not that progressive.
Yeah.
And maybe these donors are not super
they
excited about labor unions getting a lot stronger.
Right.
And maybe they don't want everybody to have healthcare through a single payer system because they make a lot of money from their investments in the insurance industry and the pharmaceutical industry.
It's transactional.
Therefore, it's not like you think it's transactional. It isn't like House of Cards in the sense that a donor says, I'm only going to donate to you if you support this policy. It's not.
It's a lot like
but it's not as much as you think.
It's pretty much exactly like
but different. But it is.
And I will have the power.
But it is just corrupting to be on the phone with billionaires and millionaires instead of being on the phone with janitors and teachers.
So you talk to a lot more janitors now that you don't take corporate.
Well, I mean, I
money?
didn't start you were joking
how
about
the
it before, but I
floors?
walk. But I do this thing where I walk across the state every year.
How long does it take?
It takes a week.
A week?
I don't know that I had the time to do that back when I was spending all my time raising money.
Dude, I bet you that lady that you beat your first run at Congress, what's her name?
Nancy Johnson.
She could beat that. I bet you Nancy could get it.
Do it in less than a
5
week.
days.
Do it in less than a week. I don't.
No, that's. I mean, I think that.
I don't want to make it more than it is, but it's just. I think in this job, what I realize is that you have to actually make efforts to get out of the bubble and to not just think that the people who call your office or the people who donate money to your campaign are the voices that matter. So I know the walk across the state looks to a lot of people like a gimmicky thing, but it is actually useful to me to make I'll tell you, you were talking about this before. The summer that the Mueller investigation was everything that MSNBC was talking about, I walked across the state right at the height of that Mueller fervor, and I probably talked to a couple hundred people on that walk. One person brought up Mueller to me. One. Nobody bought it. Nobody was plugged into it.
When he was actively using the office to make himself richer, which is clearly out in the open.
Well, and it was.
I mean, it was clearly and also against the law. They had to make it about James Bond shit.
It distracted us from actually being connected into the stuff that people really were talking about and caring about.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it wasn't important, because I actually do think that there's a pretty awful story there. Whether or not there was daily coordination between the Trump campaign and the Russians clearly had an impact on the election. But the fact that we obsessed over that instead of actually learning our lessons as a party as to why we lost to this guy was, is a big part of the reason why we're here today.
I guess I really appreciate sitting down with you, and it makes sense why you have this vision for economic policy, because the most popular person in the party right now is Bernie, basically, right? And this is it reflects popular sentiment. How can you get the rest of the Democratic Party to fall in line?
Yeah, I don't know that I'm winning this argument right now.
Yeah.
Again, that legacy of connection to the party, to that corporate crowd is real.
You have Chuck's number? Let's hit him up.
Well, I mean, I think we should. I don't know why we don't pay attention to the fact that the only people that can command 50,000 people are Bernie Sanders and AOC.
Yeah.
And I just think it's there for the taking, that there are these Republican voters today, people who support Trump, who are seeing him for who he really is, but are waiting for the Democratic Party to offer them something meaty. So I guess I don't have the secret sauce in terms of how to make this argument. I do think it will be important for us to nominate a handful of those candidates.
You chill with Bernie? He doesn't
Bernie,
hang.
he doesn't hang.
Do you think? Have you gotten a laugh from him?
Yeah.
Really? What did you say?
No, I know you're going to ask me what I said.
What did you say?
I don't remember what I said. I think Bernie laughs.
You said
Bernie.
what?
So you talk about like what are these people behind the scenes? Bernie is like
He's Bernie.
He's Bernie. Like he's
Bernie.
Bernie. And yes, that's why it works, because he's super authentic
God.
everywhere.
Jill-
And Trump is Trump behind the scenes. So people can smell insincerity a lot better than they could.
So
a generation
you're
ago.
doing authenticity right now. How do you feel about authenticity?
I mean,
You have to talk to this fool.
but this job does mess with you, right? Because especially if you started before Trump, when you were taught that you're not supposed to be authentic, that
different
you're
game.
supposed to be practiced.
Yeah.
And so if you're kind of my generation or a generation before me,
West Wing.
it's a hard pivot, like from, don't say anything unless it's been vetted by 16 communications professionals, to say whatever the hell you want,
love them.
even if it's not popular
Yeah.
or not PC, because people want to see the real you.
So just say it. Bruce Hornsby is the best musician of all time.
I do say it all the time. I do say it. I'm not going to
And you shouldn't be
apologize for it.
ashamed. You shouldn't
He's
be
a
ashamed
brilliant musician.
By your staffers.
He didn't
who are
stop making
complaining to
music
me.
in the 1980s like most people think he did. He's got a just killer catalog of music that continues to this day. And that's why I am bringing my entire staff of mostly 20-year-olds to go hear Bruce Hornsby in D.C. next week, because if they hear him, they are going to be opened up to the genius that is
Bruce Hornsby.
And I'm going to meet him.
What do you mean? Because you're in the
I'm
Congress?
gonna meet him. I know. I got his manager's info and I asked if I could meet him.
Who's
and
manager?
his manager. Okay, but I got